Hey guys, welcome back to another speed build. Today we have a cozy farm sort of build that is inspired by Jack and the Beanstalk. I'm actually doing some children's theater here in Chicago, and the show is Jack and the Beanstalk. So I figured, since I felt kind of inspired, why not go ahead and build Jack's farm? So that's what we're doing here. And it's kind of funny because I changed my idea for this a little because I thought I was going to be able to use like one of the garden plants and size it up to use as the beanstalk. And I actually did not end up doing that. I ended up finding something else, which you'll see here in a little bit. But right now we're working on the cottage itself. I knew I wanted to do like a thatched roof, and it ends up being like a Tudor style house. I found like a reference image, which for all I know is probably from, just a fairy tale compilation book of what the house looks like, in one artist's imagination. So I kind of based it on that and then sort of went from there. But you can see it's got like the little chicken decorations that are on top from Cottage Living. And I think it might stay this size, or maybe I shrink it. No. It stays about this size. And I've got a fireplace on the outside, and then there's another one, which is actually the stove on the inside. But here you can see I'm adjusting the roof so we can have like that dormer bit in the middle without the overhang underneath it, which is actually like from like an image that I referenced. And so I did that, and then we have the overhang roof trim also from Cottage Living. Lots of Cottage Living in this pack. Lots of Cottage Living in a lot of the stuff I've been building lately. But it's kind of my favorite pack. It's got like the best landscaping. The windows are so good. And it's just got like, I don't know. I love a cozy sort of charm. So Cottage Living it is. Now we're going to go inside the house. It is a one-room cottage. And there's a tiny bathroom off the back. But here you can see where I'm taking like this old-fashioned stove from the base game and making like a fireplace sort of alcove to tuck it away into. And I struggled a little bit, but it wasn't really that hard because eventually I realized I could round off or, use diagonal walls inside the quote-unquote fireplace, and then we would have what we needed. And I stacked a couple of chimney pieces outside to make one like tall chimney. Since it's on a odd amount of tiles, I couldn't do the thing where you like make a pretend chimney with like a little room. And then you can see I'm like blocking out the side around the fireplace with some stone. And then I decided it's not really that fancy of a house because, the whole thing about Jack and the Beanstalk is they are low on money. So I didn't really do any fancy wallpaper, just more Tudor style inside. And here is Jack and Mama's bedroom. I actually just stuck, a double bed under a single bed that was a bunk bed, and I think it worked out pretty well. It should be usable. I'll play test this before I put it up on the gallery, but, the double bed slotted underneath the bunk bed just fine. So fingers crossed it will work. If not, I'll make some adjustments, but hopefully not too much because I really like how it looks. Then we've got like a kitchen over here, mainly just so you can have a sink and a place for the Sims to prepare food. And then I do clutter it up a little as we move on. And here's where I decided, oh yeah, they do need like a place to poop. I almost put, an outhouse, but I decided I would put a sink and a toilet in this little bump out on the back of the house. And then eventually I end up putting one of those, I don't know what it's from. It must be base game, but it's just like that wooden tub, and it goes outside because I figure you're out in the country. The Sims probably won't mind bathing outside, but who knows? Then I put this little bench from Get Together. I decided it was like their one seat. And then Jack's got some toys. Little dragon. He's got like what I'm going to call a toy box. And I gave Mom some stitching stuff to do. I figured if Mom spends money on anything, it's probably on Jack. So he's got his little toys. And then I've got coat rack, and I clutter up a little bit. I want it to be like, cozy and cluttered, but I didn't want it to be too over the top because I didn't want it to, I guess, seem too, what would you call it, opulent, because they are farm folk and they're struggling for money. And here we have to have a cow shed because the whole point of Jack and the Beanstalk is he's going to sell the cow to save the farm. So I'm gonna really have to test this animal shed because it's not the full amount of space that it would usually need, but I want it to be kind of like cozy. So I sort of surrounded it with these debug fence pieces from Cottage Living. You can see I'm moving them around with the tool mod to like sink them down into the ground a little bit. And I end up scattering like a little bit of decoration around the animal shed. But right now I'm kind of working on the hill because I decided I wanted like this winding path sort of down the hill, because I wanted the farm to sort of be like on some different levels. So, house on one, cow shed on the other. And then there's like a little garden that I add eventually. It's just 2 plots, one of those from one of those Cottage Living plots, essentially. But it does work out pretty well. Oh, here is the Beanstalk. So I actually forgot, and I don't know, maybe I just never encountered them, that we have these like swirling like tendril pieces from the paranormal stuff pack, and they worked so well. Obviously, like there's not like, a bit that shoots straight up into the sky. And then you can see I put like a big plant back there, and I decided maybe it was like those white flowers, that is, maybe it's like one of Mama's plants, and the magic of the beans sort of helped that flower grow too. So you can see I've got another tendril that I'm putting off behind the house and like kind of moving off lot a little bit with the tool mod, so that way it's not cutting into the house. It would totally make sense for it to cut into the house, but like I still wanted things to be usable. And I think since that tendril is not it's not a debug item, I think that they wouldn't be able to walk through it. So anyway, now we are moving over to a little bit of landscaping. I want it to be sort of like cutesy, cozy, flowers, nothing like too structured, because I figured it was kind of like a simple little farm. And then I'm finally figuring out how to like do the thing where you kind of slam these rocks down into the ground to make it look like, a little like rocky outcropping. I only did it like on the front edge of the farmhouse because I want it to be like otherwise more of a hill, not really a mountain, but I decided like maybe to make it a little easier, and who knows why, because it's magic. If they were a little higher up, it's easier to get to the giant's castle, which maybe I'll build the giant's castle too, or just do like a whole fairy tale series. If you guys would like to see that, let me know. Also, let me know. Oh, here I'm trying to put in chickens. Anyway, I have ADHD, I'm pretty sure. But also, let me know if the audio on this video seems a little better as far as voiceover quality than some others. I got like a new microphone and am trying to record my audio in a different way this time around, because I've noticed it's been kind of quiet, and I have like finicked around with it a little bit, but I still wish it were a little louder. So hopefully it's easier to hear and clearer this time with this new microphone. You can see I just put some little beehives up against the house. And then I eventually, this is where I'm trying to decide like what to put in this gap between the fence that winds down the hill. I end up doing some sunflowers and then some bushes. Again, I didn't want it to look like too, I don't know, not grandiose. I want it to be simple, because the whole thing is that they are simple folk. But I like to think that Mom does her best to make the place cozy. And I'm sure Jack helps, when he's not playing with the cow and getting into mischief. But here's where I'm putting in some more flowers. Lots of romantic garden stuff here. Just because it works so well for like sort of like magical, whimsical builds. And here we have the little garden area. We've got some big pumpkins, and then there's a long shot of the eggplant because I looked at it and I was like, I don't like it. So I got rid of it and replaced it with lettuce. And then I ended up getting more of those vines and sort of putting them around the pumpkins because I feel like it kind of made sense. But then it made me think of Cinderella. So maybe now I have to do a Cinderella build. And then there's this cute little sign. And I got rid of that wagon and I ended up doing a wheelbarrow down by the garden eventually. There's some seed there. We've got, here's where I put in the well because I decided I didn't like the pot. I wanted the well. And there's the wheelbarrow. And I moved those plants that were down low up by the house. And then we kind of finished the cow area a little bit and do a little more like clumps of landscaping. And then I end up getting rid of that planter box on the side of the house and replacing it with a clothesline because I feel like it makes sense for them to use a clothesline here. This is a pretty simple house because it's not really like electronics. It's mainly like, I tried to do it like, old-timey. I don't know. It could work off the grid. I'd have to check. But it is a tiny house, the mid-tier. So you do get benefits if you decide to live here with your Sims. And here I'm just doing a little more cluttering. Putting in some flowers and some more stuff in the kitchen, an herb rack, and a few like tools and things to like scatter around just to make it feel more lived in. And then I think we're getting close to the end here. I think I put in like a few more things. I put a pot on the stove. I know I definitely hang some like pots and pans inside the fireplace. Yep, and then there's a little bit more clutter. This is about the end because I put in like a wash basin and then you can see off camera I switch out the wash basin for a actual tub that I talked about earlier in the video. So this is about it, guys. We're going to head into screenshots. I hope that you enjoyed watching and I will catch you in the next one. We'll go ahead and wrap this up and move into the nice views of the house.